Hi everyone, this is Anna Finch from Finch Press Publishing. Now today's video is a book review. I'll be reviewing a book called The Danger Game by Kalinda Ashton. Now The Danger Game is a multi-POV book, so it's written in 3 different perspectives who also use different point of views. So one character is written in first person, one in second, one in third. So I believe one is in second. But each character has a different style of POV, so it makes it easy to identify who the character is, even if there wasn't any subtitles or headings. Now, good thing is about this, even though it's a multi-POV, is the different POVs are easily identifiable. You can tell who is talking at that particular time, whose point of view you're seeing the story from. The author identifies it in the headings of each chapter, but also in the style that the chapter is written in. So she uses headings like chapter 1, now, so in present, Alice. And then you've got another character who's written in the past, so then, and it's written by another character, and it tells you when and who, which is good because you can see the different characters. You get to see how these characters have changed. You can see, because all the characters are family. So Alice, Jeremy, you've got the 3 characters, Alice, Jeremy, and Louise. Jeremy is set in the past, so his point of views are always in the past, and you learn what happens to him and how it's affected the other characters in their own points of view. So it's easily identifiable. It tells you exactly who is talking or whose character view you're seeing it in, the setting, so the time period. It tells you whether it's set in the present or in the past. If it's in the past, it tells you exactly when. So that's what's good about this, the way it's set out. There are some multi-POV books that I would find extremely difficult to read simply because you don't know who's talking. You don't know which character, you don't know what point of view, you don't know anything. So because it changes mid-chapter, you're seeing the point of view, say, from James' point of view. You're reading it in the chapter and then, like, hold on, there's something wrong. You know what? Because it's changed to a different character without even giving you a hint. Now, if you're doing multiple characters in the one chapter, multiple points of view in the one chapter, you need to give hints to the reader. Otherwise, they're not going to tell. Because shifting between point of view styles, so from third to first, while obvious, can be confusing because it may seem like a mistake, structure, grammar mistake. So you need to give hints to the reader that it's a different character, whether it's using things like subheadings. Okay, at least use a page break and at least put a page break when you're starting to move into a different character and write the character's name. Right, character A's point of view or character B's point of view. At least do that so the reader knows what to expect. Because if you just change between characters without saying, hey, we're changing characters, the reader's going to get confused. I get confused when that happens. So I enjoyed this because even though it was multi-POV, okay, you knew who was talking. You could follow along. Each point of view was relevant. Everything that they did was relevant. So each chapter, whether it was Louise's point of view or Alice's or Jeremy's, everything that happens in those chapters is relevant to the story. It builds upon the story. So I found this enjoyable. The characters were compelling and interesting and relatable. I could relate to the characters in some way. The storyline itself, it shifts between past and present, but the what happens in the past and those chapters set in the past is connected to what is happening in the present and the way the characters have grown and changed. You can see trauma, how trauma affects different characters and different people. One sibling reacts wildly different to the other. So it's interesting in that way. Now, I actually first read this as part of my literature major in uni. It was actually on the book list. We were required to read it. And I loved it. Which was saying something. Because there are certain genres and things that I don't get interested in. Like one famous incident where a teacher this is in my literature degree, put 50 Shades of Grey on the book list for uni to study for modern literature. I don't like that sort of things. I really don't like that genre, and I don't like the book. I don't think anyone in the class liked the book, but this, and I've reread it for enjoyment, and I've kept it even long after my classes were finished because I enjoyed it. It's interesting, it's engaging, characters are compelling. The cover itself grabs my attention. I like the colour and the style of the writing. It grabs my attention. So, for The Danger Game, as a piece of literature, so to read for enjoyment, I do recommend it. It is really good. It's interesting. It's not the genre that I typically read, but it's interesting. And I find that seeing the different experiences to be interesting. I like using multi-POVs. My novel that I'm planning on publishing in November 2020 is multi-POV. And again, the POVs are connected with the overall storyline. I don't want to include POVs that don't do anything. So the fact that the way that this is structured did influence the writing or the structure of my novel in the way they use POVs. For enjoyment, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I really did like it. There were some things I didn't like, or there were things in there that didn't work for me, but overall I really enjoyed this book. As a text to be studied, now I would not recommend this for anyone who's below grade 10, so year 10, so these are 16-year-olds. I wouldn't recommend it for below that. The language is accessible regardless of literature level, so a person whose English isn't a first language could read this and could read this well. But the content and some of the things they make reference to is more suitable for older readers, so young adult, possibly even adult. I don't know which category it was put in. I don't know if it was put into adult or young adult, but I would not recommend this to anyone under 16, simply because of the content that it deals with. If schools decided to study this, it can be good for year 10 level, can be good for year 11 as a text response, or as a way to base creative writing on. It can work really well. There are a number of resources for it. So there are things like chapter summaries, I believe. There's activities, or there's information about themes, and stuff to do with characters. Maybe not as much as the Hunger Games, but there's definitely more resources for this than there are for the adoration of Jenna Fox. So, as a text to be studied, I would give this, for senior levels, probably a 7 out of 10. So enjoyment, 8 out of 10. As a text to be studied, 7 out of 10. So I really like this as both a text for enjoyment and as a text for the Australian curriculum. It's very relevant and it's interesting. And I think the students would find it interesting as well. That's all I have for this video. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you want to be notified of when I upload videos, please subscribe below. Thank you for watching.